it is my fundamental commitment to ensure that the legacy I inherited when I came to SFU be passed on not only untarnished, but significantly improved.
After 10 years, wow, time flies. I remember the first time that part of the selection committee, I interviewed him. It seems to be like yesterday. We had gone through a lot of candidates, and he was the only one that was a leader and not a manager.
He is a natural leader. He's very comfortable with leadership. He's extraordinarily fair-minded, which makes those who are enjoying his leadership feel that they're part of a team.
He also listens to people around him, cares about the people around him.
Even if he didn't always agree with you, he always gave you the time of day, and he always was prepared to listen.
He was an incredible mentor for me in understanding how the universities were functioning and what they needed to blossom even further.
He's interested in what's going on with individuals, what's going on in their labs, in their research.
He does things in such a dignified way, with such integrity, and in such an articulate manner.
Michael has this ability to enable people to feel at home, to feel welcomed, and they understand right away that Michael cares about them.
He has reached out in so many significant ways to the community, whether it be business, whether it be the arts community.
I don't know what makes a good president, to be honest with you. He's sure a really nice guy. Thoroughly decent, nice guy.
I guess you would say I'm a businessman. I'm not an academic. Michael is an academic, and he makes me feel equal to him.
Michael and Jan have always been so receptive and has treated us like we were very special people, when I know how many others he sees in his busy day.
I see in Michael a person who looks for innovative solutions and is not afraid of pushing the envelope in terms of what's possible.
With his energy, his vision, and his accomplishments, I think he would make a very good real estate developer as a future career, because he's got all the attributes of someone who wants to build. And he's built Simon Fraser in a really marvelous way that's opened opportunities for so many of the young people of British Columbia.
I think UniverCity stands out in my mind as something that Michael did that had an impact not only on the university, but a massive impact on our city.
The compelling reason for me to get involved was I recognized in Michael somebody who really cared about how the project was going to turn out, how it was going to be as a place for people to live.
And I knew he was going to be a very different president when the first weekend when he joined our board, and I presented him with some design guidelines, almost as a formality. He spent the weekend reviewing them, and early next week gave me a marked-up document. I knew this was a man who cared passionately about architecture and design.
UniverCity has started to build a community which allows more and more students and other families to live at the university, and I think creates a greater ambience that didn't exist before.
He sits on the board of SFU Community Trust, and he and Jan live in the community. And not only do they live in the community, but they're very active, engaged participants in community life.
We wouldn't be here unless establishments like this were going to be here too. And this is unique amongst them all, because it is the enterprise established by a friend, a colleague, a very special person at SFU.
He's been to every one of the grand openings of all the businesses that have located in UniverCity, and he chose to live in UniverCity as an endorsement of the project itself.
It's an award-winning project, internationally recognized. Certainly Michael and the city have every right to be proud of that accomplishment.
Well, Michael has certainly left a significant legacy within the city of Surrey. Simon Fraser University, of course, is the cornerstone of our downtown core. And so it is the anchor and the life of the revitalization of the entire downtown core.
In the past, especially in Europe, cities were defined not by population, but by whether they had a university and a cathedral. And when Michael brought Simon Fraser University to the city of Surrey, it really defined our status as a city. And to me, and I think to the people of Surrey, we would say that was his greatest achievement.
SFU was dedicated, in the words of our statement of values and commitments, to the embrace of risk and bold initiative. Today, the opening of this magnificent new campus exemplifies and reaffirms those commitments.
The university gives them hope, gives them prestige, sets them apart as the city of the future.
I believe that when my grandchildren are my age, that Surrey will be the most important university in this province.
The School for Contemporary Arts is a huge addition to a neighborhood that already has the highest per capita number of artists in Canada. So it's an amazing fusion of the school's incredible capacity to teach and the community's ability to support that.
When I was a student at Simon Fraser, the Contemporary Arts program was still in portables on the periphery of the university on a mountain. And you know, that affects morale and it affects how many people are going to come and see the shows.
I firmly believe that the School for the Contemporary Arts would still be in ATCO construction trailers at this moment if it wasn't for Michael Stevenson. I saw the passion and the energy and the, you know, the persistence that was required to make this happen. And there were so many points along the way when we just thought, okay, this is not going to happen, or where's the money going to come from, or you know, all kinds of difficulties that he pushed forward. He pushed and he pushed.
He chose to go downtown and be a part of the Woodward's development, and that was a really bold move. And it's great for the area, and it's going to be incredibly great for Simon Fraser University.
When Simon Fraser University says, we're building an arts complex, a contemporary arts complex, downtown Vancouver, in a strategic location, and we're putting an experimental theatre in there. So the whole thing is a sort of experiment. But what it's saying to the arts community, which stand on the cutting edge always of cultural life, this is what we're doing. What are you going to do? Are you going to join us? Come and play in our theatre.
As a graduate, I'm so proud and I'm envious. I wish I was still at school.
Michael really enhanced Simon Fraser's reputation, and he did it in the best possible way by improving the quality of the institution. He put it on the map, not just as a regional university, but as a national and international university.
I believe that Michael Stevenson's great abilities have been devoted to a high purpose, and that his leadership at SFU will help create a better world.
Advancing on the leading edges of what universities should do with community, should do in the world, the responsibility teaching and learning have to advance humankind.
His values are so phenomenal about dedication to building a community and what the intellectual community of the university can do in service of the community at large.
My children went to SFU, my wife went to SFU. I feel so proud of SFU, and I'm so glad we've had such a great leader for the last 10 years because it's been really important in the university's development. I hope my grandchildren will go to SFU.
Michael has had such an enormous footprint, I guess in part because I think when most people think about Michael, they immediately think about Jan.
It would be wrong to say that, of course, it was just Michael on his own. Without Jan by his side, his presidency wouldn't have been so memorable.
I think a lot of the success that Michael had and has to be credited to the role that Jan played. And I don't think anybody should ever underestimate how important her role was.
Michael, I think you did a phenomenal job. Not over yet. You're going to stay here in Vancouver. You're going to remain associated with the university, and you're going to become a sounding board for the future evolution of the university with the new president.
You know, being the head of one of British Columbia's preeminent advanced education and universities is no small task. And Michael, you've always brought vision, enthusiasm, and energy to the task at hand. On behalf of all British Columbians, let me say thank you. You've earned a rest. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. I hope we see you soon.